All right, so Simone mentioned the stats earlier. Vehicles are on the roads and they're uninsured. So much so that you have to wonder if it's really a legal requirement. Why are so many people breaking the law? But why are so many without insurance? When insuring your vehicle will provide cover for injuries to other drivers, passengers, pedestrians, property, should you have an accident. Head of the Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement Branch, Assistant Commissioner of Police Calvin Allen is here, and President of the Insurance Association of Jamaica, Peter Levy. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Welcome
Good
to Smile Jamaica. It's morning time.
Morning.
ACP, I'm going to start with you because we're really asking, is it legal to drive without insurance?
Certainly not.
It must be.
Certainly not. In fact, I like the words that you spoke of earlier because it is downright dangerous, not only for the driver of the vehicle, but for its passengers, for the other road users, including our pedestrians. And we are quite aware of many persons that have been maimed by being injured from collisions and have nothing to get because the vehicle that they were in or the vehicle that hit them had no insurance. So it is a dangerous practice.
Why? Why is it such a... It's not only dangerous, it seems to be a common one based on what I just read.
Well, based on the figures coming from the IAJ, it is indeed one that is cause for concern. We have been doing some prosecution when we meet upon them. Last year we did several hundred prosecutions, but the fine is minuscule, $2,000.
$2,000 if you're caught driving without insurance?
$2,000. Then for the new Road Traffic Act, because it moves it to $20,000. But I believe that upon stopping a vehicle of that nature and discovering that it has no insurance, that it should be a vehicle that is seized.
CCP, I'm curious. Is that the coaster bus them and the taxi man them, or
It is all vehicles, all categories of vehicles.
no
that are
more
out there.
one than the other? Because I shudder to think of a bus full of people.
Those vehicles that is deemed to be the robot vehicles, they are so because they refuse to go the route of proper insurance because the red plate operator has to pay far more insurance for his vehicle. And this is why we encourage persons to ensure that you don't just hop into a vehicle that stop at your feet, but ensure that you are taking a legitimate vehicle. So in the event of any eventualities,
you have something.
You
recourse.
have something to
Hello,
gain
you
from
ever
it.
seen what means an accident? The vehicle empty out no time. Everybody run.
No, not just everybody run.
The
The
driver.
driver is gone.
So it doesn't...
Yes.
Peter, from your point of view, why is it... Why don't people want to insure their vehicles? Is it prohibitive? That's one of the things we said in terms of cost. What's the challenge?
But I think, first of all, let me just say that I think the number is actually more like a quarter to a third.
So let me step back. So the Jamaica National Group study says, based on data from the Tax Administration of Jamaica and the IAJ, 57%. You're saying you think
Yeah, I
it's
think that's going to
more-
become a zombie statistic. They use the number of policies instead of the number of vehicles.
Okay.
There are many more vehicles than policies because you can have more than one vehicle on a policy.
So you think that number is less?
So the number of uninsured vehicles is lower than, it's not half.
You think it's about 30%?
Somewhere between a quarter and a third.
Still
is what,
high.
Okay.
Yeah, it's still a high and still cause for concern.
Yeah.
And the
But not
damage,
as shocking as I
it's
thought.
not like you have more chance of being hit by an uninsured vehicle than an insured vehicle. I don't think that's true. But it is a significant problem, and the reasons behind it, there are many. People claim economic reasons. The truth is that you can get payment plans for up to 9 or 10 months and stretch out the premium so that it's more manageable. So those options are available. I think there's a sense in which people just don't like dealing with insurance companies. I think that's something we need to look at. Maybe we need to make it easier to do business with us. Some of the stuff we do is mandated by the regulators, but we could also make it easier.
And there are people who complain that they get the coverage and then when they meet in the accidents, it's problems to get any kind of assistance.
We have a system which is adversarial. In other words, there's a winner and a loser in a motor vehicle accident. And most of the time the losers, whether they go to court or whatever the mechanism is for determining fault, they don't necessarily accept that they were wrong. So they come out of the process feeling kind of bittered.
Yeah. We wanted I think that's another interview for another time. Yannick Page did a video the other day that went viral, and some issues have been raised out of that I think need to be ventilated.
Yeah.
So maybe another time.
You
but-
raised other issues, though.
Yes.
You said some registered vehicles are not in use, laid up, awaiting repairs, written off, stolen, scrapped for sale, sitting on second-hand car lots. Should there be a way to note the difference in those vehicles so that the statistics reflect actualities that are
It would be very useful to have an idea of the number actually on the road.
right?
What mechanism there? I mean, I think again, you'd have to make it easy for people. You know, you'd have to make it not have to go to the tax office and stand up in a line for 45 minutes kind of thing. So one of the things that we're working on now, though, is to have a real-time database of insured vehicles available to the police and the tax authorities. The insurance industry has been working on this for a while. We're now talking to eGov about how to bring it to fruition. And that will allow the police to know in real time whether or not somebody has insurance.
Once they're on the plate, you mean? Or once,
Yeah, they'll run the
okay.
plate, exactly.
I see ACP nodding his head.
Also, there's a possibility that, you know, there's a company testing cameras, traffic cameras. They can do license plate recognition, and they could automatically look up the database and identify uninsured vehicles as they drive through an intersection. And then the police could get an alert that there's a vehicle going down Hope Road that's uninsured, license number X.
What's the timeline on that, Sir Levy?
Well, I don't know how,
Advanced
I don't know
is.
what, the camera is in a pilot phase now with whether it's the Minister of National Security. I'm not sure.
Jamaica
What about
Act.
the eGov?
But for the
What about-
database, for the eGov, we're now in the final phases of, the database is ready, and now eGov is working on them creating the access to get the database information in real time.
Wait, you have to come back and talk some more, because it's one thing to keep saying you're not insured, but I think there are challenges with why people don't come forward. ACP, you get the final word. What is your warning to motorists who are driving around not insured, and to passengers too?
Right, especially to our passengers. We
Yeah.
want for persons to be far more responsible, right? So you're going to work, really, don't just hop into any vehicle that stop at your feet, and especially those white plate vehicles. They don't have the correct insurance coverage that in the case of a collision, you have something to give.
So even if they are insured, it's not the correct one.
Yes, they might be insured as a regular private motor
Yeah,
vehicle.
yeah.
And so this collaboration with the insurance company is something that we will continue to work on and strengthen, because once the information can be shared within real time, then our prosecution efforts can be further enhanced in that regard. So we want persons to be far more careful, and we want for drivers and owners of vehicles, because it's not just the owner that will be prosecuted, but not just the driver, but the owner
yeah.
can also be
Yeah.
prosecuted for aiding and abetting
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
vehicle being on the road without being insured.
Who takes responsibility? Who is culpable for the fact that, who is this an indictment on, that there are so many uninsured cars on the road?
The owner of the vehicle.
Is it?
The owner
What
has
about
a
our systems?
responsibility.
What about our systems, ACP? How do we allow so many uninsured vehicles to be on the road? Something
And this
in
is
the
why,
system is
yes,
broken.
and this is why that sort of a collaboration with the insurance company, with our enforcement efforts, will see. Also, I want to point out the whole aspect of the consequences beyond just a fine. We're talking about if you don't have insurance, then there are some other things that ought to kick in. You should not be able to renew your registration. You should not be able to renew
didn't
your
know you
driver's
could
license.
without it.
So these are other.
I mean, seriously.
These are other critical variables that ought to be a part of the whole dynamics
System.
towards that.
Yeah.
All right.
And my bank remind me.
Ah, boy. Head of the Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement Branch, Assistant Commissioner of Police Calvin Allen, and President of the Insurance Association of Jamaica, Peter Levy. We hope this collaboration works and we'll start to see something different on the streets. So,
What's on the roster for Peace Day? We find out what's going on right after the break.